Hello, world. Welcome back to Not Just Candle Talk, the podcast where we don't just light candles, we light fires under entrepreneurs. I'm your host, and today we're not just talking business, we're taking a journey somewhere between fact and fiction, between fantasy and financial strategy, to a small, nearby, forgotten town where the power went out, but the hustle stayed lit. This is The Town That Hustled in the Dark, a fictional tale woven with the real truths of building something from nothing. So sit back. This one's different, but it's definitely for you, dear entrepreneur. Once upon a hustle, there was a small town called Ebon Hollow, a quiet place tucked away between broken highways and busted dreams. The town used to be known for its candle factory, Glowworks. It lit homes across the country until one day the factory closed. Jobs left, and so did the light. But a few stayed. A barista named Rena, a mechanic named Jax, and a high school dropout with a sketchbook full of candle labels. Her name was Nova. They were tired and broke. And then one night, the power went out for good. Literally, Ebon Hollow went dark. But instead of panicking, they got to work. Nova said, "Why wait for power when we've got fire?" She wasn't just talking about wax and wicks. She was talking about something deeper. And here's an entrepreneur truth. Sometimes rock bottom is a runway. When everything goes dark, you finally see who still got a spark. So they started small. Rena turned her cafe into a candle bar by day and poetry lounge by night. Jax, he took scrap metal and built custom candle holders from old engines. Nova, she started selling handmade candles out of a shed she lit with lanterns. They didn't have funding or a Shopify site, but they had word of mouth. And most importantly, they had stories. Rena's candles smelled like fresh start and burnt bridges. Jack's holders were engraved with broke, not broken. Nova's bestseller, CEO in the Shadows. People from nearby towns started driving in, not just for the candles, but of course for the vibe. They created more than a product. They created a movement. Here's another entrepreneur truth. Your brand isn't what you sell. It's what people feel when they hold it. Ebon Hollow became a beacon, not because the lights came back on, but because people realized glow is eternal. Of course, storms came, as they always do. Like I always say, it's peaks and valleys. A developer tried to buy their block, told them a gas station would bring more business than candles ever would. They offered Nova a check with more zeros than she'd ever seen. And she almost said yes. But Jack said something that stuck with her. Money is loud, but peace is silent. Can you sleep at night with the price of your dream? And of course, they fought back and forth, but not with lawyers, but with love. The whole town held a festival called the Night Market, an all-night glow in the dark candle event. Poets performed, kids sold glow jars, people cried, danced, and brought out every candle. Eventually, after seeing all of this, how the community came together, the developer, he left. And here's another entrepreneur truth. Sometimes the best strategy is community. No one can steal a dream when it's shared by many. Of course, today you won't find Ebon Hollow on Google Maps, but if you drive far enough and the sky's just right, you might see a glow. Nova now mentors teen entrepreneurs. Jack's candle holders are featured in design magazines. Rena's Cafe is part of a documentary called Small Town, Big Light. But, as I say, with peaks and valleys, they never got rich, not in the way that the world measured it, but they built something that paid in peace, purpose, and power. They stuck together, right? Through thick and thin, they stuck together. So here's another entrepreneur truth. Legacy isn't about scale. It's about what still burns after you stop selling, right? I've talked about this many times before. Legacy is forever. Purpose, alignment, those are things that will never fade. So my question is, what do you do when the lights go out? You remember, the glow comes from within. Okay? I'm going to end it right here. So this has been a fictional story, but the struggle, the hustle, the heart is very real. And if this episode sparks something in you, share it. Share it with your broke but dreaming friend. Send it to that cousin who's too scared to quit that 9 to 5. Because around here, we don't just talk candles. We talk legacy. And we're going to keep talking legacy. And we're going to keep talking purpose. You've been listening to Not Just Candle Talk. I'm your host. And I believe in your glow, even when the world goes dark. Until next time, stay lit, my friend. I like this story because it has so many different elements to it. And you can see, even though people had different roles to play, they definitely came together when it was most needed. And that's what community is all about. And that's how you build your legacy. Again, I just want to touch on this short story real quick. And I might do more of these. I might elaborate more on purpose and alignment and the side hustles and the business side of that. Until next time, thank you for listening. Bye.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.